I welcome you to the 20th Global Conference of Actuaries, Expanding the Horizon, Strengthening the Core. I'm Shobna Sharma, your host for the inaugural session. I'm a fellow actuary from UK and India, and I'm working with PNB MetLife. GCA is a flagship event running for 2 decades now and has become truly global with all the visiting international dignitaries and a growing domestic presence. We have here about 700 delegates attending the 20th GCA with representation from about 15 countries. I'm sure you're all looking forward to 2 days of engaging and enriching discussions. We are going to have a wide variety of topics, some bringing new perspectives to the core areas of life, general insurance, pensions, and risk, and some throwing light on new dimensions for actuaries in India, like data science, banking, and more. I encourage all of you to take the opportunity to meet the delegates attending the conference from varied nations and professional backgrounds. All the sessions are being graphically recorded, which will be on display outside later, courtesy Scorri. I would now request the esteemed dignitaries to come to the dais for inaugurating the 20th Global Conference of Actuaries. First and foremost, I request Dr. Subhash Chandra Khuntia, Chairperson, IIDAI, to come to the dais. I humbly request Mr. Sunil Sharma, President, Institute of Actuaries of India, to escort him. I now request Mr. Masaki Yoshimura, immediate past President of the International Actuarial Association, to grace the dais. May I please request Ms. Marjorie Guenia, the immediate past President of the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries, to come to the dais. I now request Mr. Sanjeev Pujari, Chairman of the 20th GCA Organizing Group, to come to the dais. May I please request Mr. R.K. Sood, Executive Director, OS and Estate LIC, to come to the dais. I now request Mr. Dave Sandberg, Member, Board of Directors, Society of Actuaries, US, to come to the dais. Thank you to all for gracing this occasion. To begin the inaugural ceremony, I invite President Sunil Sharma, GCA Organizing Group, Chairperson Sanjeev Pujari, to accompany Chief Guest Dr. S.C. Khuntia, Chairman, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, to light the lamp. I also invite all other dignitaries on the dais to come forward and light the lamp. Light from the lamps remove darkness and is a metaphor for the transformation involved in the quest for enlightenment. Light is a symbol of brightness and prosperity and expels the darkness and brightens the path towards expanding the horizon. Knowledge removes ignorance just as light dispels darkness.
दक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय
Sunil Sharma to felicitate Dr. S.C. Kundia, Chairman IIDA. I also request Mr. Sunil Sharma to felicitate Mr. Masaki Yoshimura, the immediate past president of International Actuarial Association. I also request Mr. Sunil Sharma to felicitate Mr. R.K. Sood, Executive Director, Life Insurance Corporation of India. May I please request Mr. Sanjeev Pujari to felicitate Ms. Marjorie Guenia, the immediate past president of the IFOA. I also request Mr. Sanjeev Pujari to felicitate Dave Sandberg, Member, Board of Directors, SOA. Thank you, sir. Now we have Mr. Sunil Sharma, President, Institute of Actuaries of India. He is a qualified actuary and a fellow member of Institute of Actuaries UK and Institute of Actuaries of India. With close to 29 years of diversified experience in the insurance and reinsurance sector, Mr. Sunil has worked across India, USA, UK, and Singapore. He is currently the appointed actuary and the chief risk officer for Kotak Mahindra Life Insurance Company. Prior to joining Kotak Life, he has worked in various positions with ICICI Prudential Life, Swiss Re, GE Financial Assurance Holdings, and Life Insurance Corporation of India. Sunil has served the II Council in various capacities. Sir, I request you to kindly come and speak a few words.
Good morning. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. S.A. Kuntia, Chairman IDI, Shri R.K. Sood, ED LIC of India, Mr. Masaki Yoshimura, Immediate Past President, International Actuarial Association, Ms. Marjorie Guenia, Immediate Past President, IFOA, Mr. Sandberg, Member Board of Director SOA, Sanjeev Pujari, and honorable delegates, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the 20th Global Conference of Actuaries. Before I speak further, I would request to actually launch our GCA AV that we have for 20th GCA. May I request you to please play the AV.
India is poised to become a superpower. It is a country that's fast progressing to touch a new level of prosperity. A land blessed with opportunities. India has more than 1 billion people dreaming and hoping for a prosperous future. The opportunities will bring its own share of challenges and risks. This is where actuaries come into the picture, by employing their specialized knowledge and skills to create a vital difference. Actuaries are certified professionals who play a significant role in evaluating various complex risks and assess the possible financial consequences of those risks. Actuaries enable informed decisions by providing objective and analytical inputs to the process of designing and valuing financial products in insurance, pensions, banking, and investments. They also play a crucial role in framing public policy and risk management. The Institute of Actuaries of India is the statutory body to develop and regulate the actuarial profession in India. The Global Conference of Actuaries is the signature event held by the Institute annually since 1999. Since then, the event has been growing in scale year on year. This Vanguard Conference is a gathering of minds from multifarious sectors with wide-ranging expectations. They include sponsors seeking brand visibility among a highly influential target group, professionals including actuaries, bankers, chartered accountants, management graduates, company secretaries, equity analysts, investment professionals, and many more who are seeking to keep pace with latest developments in the financial services arena. The event is attended by the corporate stalwarts, professional bodies, and regulators across the world. GCA enables students to gain knowledge about the developments in the actuarial field. All in all, the Global Conference of Actuaries is the perfect venue for thought leaders to share perspectives, exchange ideas, debate matters, and reward the achievers. The 20th Global Conference of Actuaries is being held on 4th to 6th March 2019 in Mumbai. The theme for this year's GCA is Expanding the Horizon, Strengthening the Core, which defines the strategic vantage point of the Indian actuarial profession today. A warm welcome to the 20th Global Conference of Actuaries.
Thank you, and once again, very warm welcome to the 20th Global Conference of Actuaries. I would like to express my gratitude to Mr. Khuntia, who, despite his busy schedule, managed to actually come here and address this gathering here. Thank you, sir, for coming and agree to deliver the keynote address here. This event, 20th Global Conference of Actuaries, as the word says, global, is truly global in the sense that we got representation from all across the world. Actuaries, if you look at the dignitaries sitting on the dais, actually can just really reflect the global nature of this event. So we got representation from UK, USA, South America, South Africa. We got few speakers from South Africa, from South Asia, Hong Kong and Singapore, and many other countries. There are over 750 delegates who are attending this conference. And yesterday evening, we had our EGFA session, which was attended by over 650 people. I also would like to thank Mr. Hemant Bhargava, who could not make, there was some urgent meeting that he had to go to some Prime Minister's meeting, some urgent meeting he had to go, and Mr. Sood is here. Thanks for coming for that. And would like to thank you, LIC, for being principal partner for the Global Conference of Actuaries. I think the event cannot happen without partners, and I would like to really thank all the partners. There are over 35 partners who really supported us to do this event, and I really, really appreciate the support provided by all the partners. If you look at global, India is really emerging as the global hub for the actuarial services. There are over 1,000 actuarial resources who've been working with providing services across the globe while sitting in India. And I think this is really, really growing. And I would like to really, from Institute of Actuaries, I would like to really, on behalf of IAI, extend all our support, whoever would like to set up their global actuarial center of excellence in India. There are a lot of opportunities that are coming in. Say, for example, this could be a global hub for IFRS 17 implementation across the globe. So we would be happy to support whoever would like to set up the center of excellence for actuarial in India to provide the global services. We got over 425 qualified actuaries, 160 associate actuaries, and around 10,000 student members. And all these members are working all across the globe. So the profession in India is truly global. The theme for 20th Global Conference of Actuaries, as I said, expanding the profession, strengthening the core. So while we're working on strengthening the real traditional core areas that we've been working in, the profession actually aspire to really get into the wider areas. And if you look at it, this theme is just to really fulfill or work in that direction of expanding the profession. And actually these aspirations, if you look at it, other professions in UK, US, Australia, or South Africa, they've really have kind of created a space for the actual profession in the wider areas. We got many sessions today that are happening on banking, how the actuaries add value in banking. So we got a speaker from South Africa, and there's around 100 actuaries who've been actually really adding value in the banking sector. There are also a lot of actuaries who have started working in data science analytics, and US is a classic example of that. So this aspiration that we have in terms of getting into the wider areas, we're going to work in tandem with some of the global profession and see how can we work together and fulfill our aspirations to get into the wider areas and really help the cause of the public interest. In the next 2 days, there are going to be a lot of sessions on these wider areas. I would really encourage all our members to attend those sessions and really see how actuaries are adding values into wider areas in those markets. And really see as to how should we start all that in India. So I once again thank all the speakers, delegates, all the partners who really made this 20th Global Conference of Actuaries a real conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunil. Our next speaker, Mr. R.K. Sood, is Executive Director in LIC, the largest Indian insurer. He's a fellow of Insurance Institute of India with varied experiences from marketing to services of life insurance and its underwriting, reinsurance, housing finance, and estate matters accounts. As Executive Director, New Business and Reinsurance, he brought about tremendous changes in underwriting of risk. He has also been instrumental in developing end-to-end underwriting solutions and e-policy in LIC. I request Mr. Sood to please speak a few words. Vinita, you can play the video.
अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो माम्, ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्।
आपकी सुरक्षा और समृद्धि है हमारी जिम्मेदारी।
Esteemed Chairman IRDA, Shri Subhash Chandra Kotia ji, dignitaries on dais, and my dear friends. At the outset, on behalf of LIC of India, I extend a very warm welcome to all the participants who have gathered here to dwell on enlisted agenda. I trust Whatever the deliberation will take place during the course of 2 days conference, this 20th conference of global conference of actuaries will be extremely beneficial to insurance industry, will be beneficial to other industries also. As you know, I have come as a proxy to our chairman, Shri Hemant Bhargava. He had to go to Ahmedabad for inaugurations of pension for non-organized workers, and it will be done by our esteemed Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. Basically, proxy is done in absentia, and say in your parlance, is nothing but solvency margin, which is used in such eventualities only. Certainly, since at the last moment I was told to attend this function, I have not come well prepared on any subject, but I know one thing. In making of LIC and keeping the LIC to such a sound footing, all actuaries have played a very, very vital role. And we are still very, very competitive in the market and still holding the topmost position in life insurance industry. Before 90s, most of our chairmen were of actuarial background only. Naturally, we owe a debt of gratitude to them, and this is one of the ways to repay our debt by sponsoring such mega events. On behalf of my chairman, Shri Hemant Bhargava, and on behalf of LIC, I wish a grand success to this 20th Conference of Actuaries, Global Conference of Actuaries. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mr. Masaki Yoshimura, immediate past president of the International Actuarial Association. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science majoring in mathematics from Kyoto University, then went on to obtain an MBA from the Boston University. Mr. Yoshimura began his career at Sumitomo Life, where he worked for about 30 years. During that period, he assumed the role of General Manager of Corporate Risk Management, served as an appointed actuary, and spent 3 years in the US as Chief Representative of Sumitomo's New York office. He then joined Milliman's Tokyo office in April 2012 and co-managed the Tokyo office. He has served as General Secretary of the Institute of Actuaries of Japan and is currently a board member of the same and chairman of the SERA Qualification Committee. I request Mr. Yoshimura to address the gathering.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction. Mr. Sharma, President of the Institute of Actuaries of India, IAI, Dr. Kuntia, Chairman of the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, and Mr. R.K. Sood, representative of the Life Insurance Corporation of India, and other honored guests, and dear colleagues. I'm very privileged to represent the International Actuarial Association, IAA, as the immediate past president at this opening ceremony of the 20th Global Conference of Actuaries, GCA. On behalf of the IAA, I offer my congratulations on the 20th anniversary and sincere thanks to all those whose efforts made this conference possible, especially to Mr. Sharma, the President, and Mr. Pujari, Chairman of the 20th GCA Organizing Group, and his colleagues of IAI, and to the distinguished speakers and panelists who provide excellent presentations, and to all of you who came here today to respond in a timely manner to the challenges of expanding the horizon, strengthening the core. Although this is my first time to attend this conference is very dear to me because Mr. Khan, who is a past president and a great contributor to the IAI, kindly guided me to this conference. And talking about a little old story, when I was General Secretary of the Institute of Actuaries of Japan 15 to 16 years ago, I was much younger then. The 5th and 6th GCA were held, and I knew for the first time that actuarial profession in India was going global. So quickly, after the opening of Indian insurance industry to private sector in 1999. The IAA started to recognize and support this event since 2003, and looking at the great successes in the past and what promises to be a great conference this year, I would like to express my sincere respect for your foresight and efforts to make actuarial profession of India international. The IAA has more than 100 years of history, but current IAA was reorganized in 1998, just 1 year before the first GCA, primarily to closely work with the international organizations like IASB and IAIS, representing worldwide actuarial profession. Last year, IAA celebrated 20th anniversary since its reorganization. IAA also celebrated having 100 member associations in Mexico City last December. And we now have 16 member associations in Asia. As we all know, IFRS 17 insurance contracts was finally issued last year after more than 20 years of intensive deliberations. The IAA made great efforts throughout the process because the new accounting standard is quite actuarial in nature. Currently, in support of IFRS 17, we are developing ISAP 4, a model international standards of actuarial practice number 4. And we are also pursuing several other IFRS 17 related initiatives designed to serve actuaries and the users of actuarial services around the globe. These various efforts will certainly enhance the recognition of the expertise and competency of the actuarial profession. Not only on accounting areas, we work closely with the IAIS on risk-based global insurance capital standard, ICS. And through the participation of various IAIS meetings, including the one on the development and delivery of supervisory capacity building in the developing countries, we are keeping close relationship with the IAIS and its leaders. Today, we are facing great changes caused by astounding advancement of digital technology, coupled with other significant challenges, including low interest rates in many parts of the world and huge environmental and demographic changes. However, these are great opportunities, especially for actuaries who are equipped with the knowledge and experiences of ERM, enterprise risk management, and data analytics, which I think are quite natural evolution to the core skills of the actuaries. In my view, to borrow the theme of this conference, ERM has expanded the horizon of traditional actuarial practice, and data analytics, with excellent skills and business acumen of actuaries, would not only expand the horizon to the uncharted areas of actuarial practice, but also strengthen the core of traditional practices with more data and analytical tools. Asia is the most populous area in the world, and in addition, those significant changes are happening just before our eyes. So contributions of Asian actuaries like you are vital, not only for seeking the optimal solutions for the traditional areas of insurance, pension, and healthcare industries, but also for other industries with the tools and knowledge I just mentioned. Lastly, I'm looking forward to meeting many of you today and tomorrow, and please come and ask me any questions about the IAA. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts. We now have Ms. Marjorie Guenia, immediate past president, IFOA. She is a qualified actuary based in Johannesburg and has worked across a number of disciplines, including risk management, consulting, and reinsurance. She was the editor of The Actuary for 3 years until the end of 2011. Ms. Marjorie is an active volunteer for the IFOA and served for 4 years as a member of the Audit and Risk Committee. She is a member of the IFOA Management Board. As an overseas member of the Council, Ms. Marjorie represents the IFOA as an ambassador, connecting with the IFOA's substantial overseas membership. She is a trustee of the Legal Resources Trust in South Africa. I request Ms. Marjorie to please speak a few words.
Thank you and good morning. Sunil Sharma, President of the IAI, Dr. Kuntia, distinguished dignitaries, honored guests, and members of the IAI Council. Thank you very much to the IAI for inviting me and my colleagues to attend your conference. I'm delighted to be in India once again and to reconnect with so many friends and supporters of our global profession. I'm joined by colleagues from the IFOA. We have John Taylor, who's president-elect, Mahidara Davengere, as a locally co-opted member of the IFOA Council, offering us insights into the South Asian perspectives. Vikas Navesha and Gautam Mazumdar, who are the IFOA's local representatives, and 2 directors from the IFOA senior management team, Sarah Sim and Clifford Friend. At the end of June, I will be stepping down from my role on the IFOA's presidential team. As part of that role, I was privileged to lead a delegation of council members to India to attend last year's GCA. This June, a number of council members will be convening in Africa to engage with our members and stakeholders there. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish the IAI hearty congratulations on organising and hosting its 20th GCA. It is heartwarming to see the profession flourishing while also ensuring that it plays a role in social upliftment. I wish the IAI and its sponsors a very successful event. My colleagues and I look forward to interacting with all of you and catching up over the course of this conference. Please do come and find us and say hello. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. Dave Sandberg, Member, Board of Director, Society of Actuaries, USA. Mr. Dave's background includes almost 30 years at Allianz Life of North America, with responsibilities for financial reporting, experience analysis, and reinsurance. He is the past chair of the International Actuarial Association's Insurance Regulation Committee, the past president of the American Academy of Actuaries, and a member of the Academy's Big Data Working Group. He is currently a senior consultant with Charles Rivers and Associates and a board member of the Society of Actuaries. He graduated from Brigham Young University. I request Mr. Dave to address the gathering, please.
Thank you. I would like to echo the many gracious comments that have been provided concerning our hosts and the opportunity to be here. It was a delight to be here last night and to be able to be infused with the vibrant diversity that is at the heart of India. On behalf of the Society of Actuaries, we are grateful to be here. Like you, we live in a complex world. I've always believed that we get paid as actuaries by providing answers, but we create value by the questions that we try to solve. And the Society of Actuaries is earnestly involved in better understanding and framing the questions that will drive our profession over the next decade and beyond. In a world that is rapidly changing, we consider it a high priority to understand how the rest of the world is changing as we carry out our mission of enriching and benefiting the profession in a worldwide fashion. We are looking forward to continued conversation and meeting introductions with all of you, and appreciate so much the energy and vitality that you bring to the profession as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We now have our honorary chief guest, Dr. Kuntia, the chairman of IRDAI. He has had an illustrious career in civil services spanning over 36 years. He has been chief secretary, Government of Karnataka, and before that, he worked as secretary, School Education and Literacy, Government of India in Ministry of Human Resource Development. In Government of India, he has also served in Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Human Resource Development, and Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Dr. Kuntia is an alumna of Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, and he has a PhD in economics and is also a law graduate. Sir, I request you to please give the keynote address.
President of the Institute of Actuaries of India, Mr. Sunil Sharma, the dignitaries who are present here, which include Mr. Yoshimura, the immediate past president of the International Actuarial Association, Ms. Marjorie Nguena from the UK Institute of Actuaries, Mr. David Sandberg from the US Institute of Actuaries, Mr. Sood from LIC, and Mr. Sanjeev Pujari, who is the chief organizer of this 20th Global Conference of Actuaries. I am really happy to be amongst you. The profession of actuaries is a very critical profession in the financial sector and particularly in the insurance sector. So I am really pleased being from the IRDAI. We have to depend a great deal on the responsibilities of the actuaries in the insurance companies. And as you know, the IRDAI regulations, they have also given a kind of important role to the appointed actuaries of the companies. The concept of appointed actuary is there so that the appointed actuary has a responsibility towards the insurance company and its shareholders. Simultaneously, they also have a responsibility towards the regulator. And this is on the one side. And the other side, they also have to balance the, the convenience of the shareholders with the balance of convenience for the policyholders. So it is a very kind of crucial role that the actuaries play in the insurance companies, and not only in insurance companies. Now the actuaries are having a increasing role in other financial sectors. Of course, in the pension, it is required in investment functions, in many banks. In the other countries, there are regular actuaries who are working. And I think with development of digital technology and big data, data analytics, the role of actuaries will further increase. So the traditional role that you play, that is the pricing of the products, insurance products, and which would include the product design, that will be expanded manifold because of the changing role, because with the advent of digital technology. Now, in the pricing of the products, I think what we would need, things are becoming complex, but I think we will need your role to guide the insurance companies to go for products which are simple and which can be understood by the policyholders without too much of difficulty. And there has to be transparency, because in the pricing, again, you have to look after the shareholders' value and also the policyholders' value. So this is a fine balance that you must maintain. Then you have a role in the valuation of liabilities and prudential requirements. So there again, you will have to be realistic. Ultra-conservatism may again harm the policyholders and may benefit the shareholders. But I think here your role as a professional would be to balance both so that the insurance industry remains sustainable. Similarly, under the IRDAI regulations, we have given far-reaching powers to the appointed actuaries that they have to, whenever they feel like presenting the case, they can seek they can present their case before the boards of directors of the insurance companies. They are supposed to be the members of various committees which look after, again, valuation or pricing or investment decisions. They are permanent members of the investment committees of the insurance companies. Then, of course, in enterprise resource management and on reinsurance requirements. In all these, I think the role of the actuaries is completely integrated. So, as you heard that several of the chairmen of LIC in earlier days have been actuaries, because that is the kind of role. So I think from the appointed actuary, several of you are potential chief executive officers of various companies and organizations. In some of the cases, you also are working as the chief risk officers of the companies, but even if there are separate risk officers, the risk-related functions again have to be carried out by the actuaries, whether it is kind of assessment of risk budgeting, preparation of risk registers. We have also recently asked all the board chairmen to prepare risk registers for all their companies, and to constantly update it. In this, your involvement will be absolutely necessary. So, appointed actuaries as professionals, just like the chartered accountants as professionals, they have a responsibility to be professionally correct. At the same time, they work with their organization. Similarly, you have to work for your organization, but at the same time, you have to be professionally and technically correct. So this is an important aspect of this profession. And we have, in the next couple of years, many new things that will be introduced together. In India, we are going to introduce risk-based capital, and there again, your role will be quite crucial. Then the risk-based supervision is also another principle that we would be introducing in the country. Then, as you all know, IFRS 17 is due to be introduced globally from 1st January 2022. So, all these require kind of large-scale changes in the method we work, but then the actuarial functions and the accounting functions, I think they will come together with the introduction of IFRS 17. And I think then the finance and the actuarial departments will have to work jointly to make it happen. So I think all of you have to prepare yourselves to deal with this situation, and I am happy that this global conference, which you are conducting annually, it attracts eminent actuaries from other countries. We have people from several countries, and there are eminent people on the dais. So I think that will result in cross-fertilization of ideas, what other countries are doing and what we are doing. You could exchange notes and adopt best practices from one another. Looking at the size of our country, I think the number of qualified actuaries, I feel is quite low. It's only, the number is only 379. This is less than 400 qualified actuaries in a country of our size with such a large population. And our India's economic growth rate is one of the highest growth rates among the major economies in the world. And because we have a young population, the average age is quite low, and this will remain so for quite several years, at least up to 2050. So the requirement for protection, requirement for investment will keep growing and at a steady pace. The insurance industry, the premium growth rate, cumulative average for the last several years has been upward of 15%, which is a very good growth rate, and this also is likely to continue for several years in the future. So we should have many more qualified actuaries in our country. So how this can be done, I will request the President and the members of the Institute of Actuaries to deliberate on this. And also we have a little bit of imbalance. There are a large number of actuaries in the specializing in life, but we have not so many in the general insurance or in the health insurance. So health insurance is again growing at a very fast pace. In fact, the last 2 to 3 years, it has grown upwards of 35% per year. So, because there is a huge requirement for health insurance, and with several government schemes like Ayushman Bharat, Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, and schemes in, across the country, this requirement will again grow. So we have to create a kind of situation so that the young people know about the kind of requirements for this profession and the potential for this profession. I believe there are more than 8,000 student members in the Institute of Actuaries, but when it gets converted to actual qualified actuaries, I believe only about 25 to 30 qualify each year. That means the conversion rate needs to be stepped up. And how it can be done? Of course, people generally have a feeling that the profession of actuaries is a very difficult profession and it is very difficult to pass the exam. So probably the people, it dissuades young students to get into studying for this. But it should be possible to change this by a kind of campaign. And I think our Indian students, there are a large number of students who are very good in mathematics and statistics, which I suppose is the base for the profession of actuaries. Just like the Indian Administrative Service is supposed to be a very tough exam. So in a year, some 100 to 120 people, but for that, some 400,000, 500,000 people are appearing every year. So if that can happen, even if that is a very tough exam, I do not see why we should not persuade people to enter this profession. And there is huge potential, and the number, I think, if you increase it from 379 to 1,000 also, in 2 to 3 years, still we will have enough work I think, in our economy, because now we are not able to, because of shortage of actuaries, as I many times we are making use of actuaries from other countries, but it will be possible for us to produce many more actuaries, and we can also have collaboration with the universities and colleges to offer courses in actuarial science, and the Institute of Actuaries can actually closely monitor those courses, and if they come up to expectation, I think you can have mutual arrangement about exempting them from some of the examination papers. So I believe this is available in other countries. So once you do that, then I think there are also several countries in the world which have a shortage of actuaries, so they also, we can make good those shortages, because fortunately our human resources, the young population is high. So whereas many Western countries, their population has aged, so they don't have a large number of people in the working age group. So another thing that I would suggest is to have a world-class actuarial journal to be published by the Institute of Actuaries, and that also would encourage many of you to contribute articles and actually further the frontier of knowledge in your profession. So as far as IRDAI is concerned, I would like to extend all our cooperation to the Institute of Actuaries in, expanding the scope of the work of the Institute. We would like to collaborate closely as we have been doing so far, and also we would like to develop some centers of excellence in the country for, offering courses on actuarial science and data analytics and various specializations of the actuarial science. So this would go a long way in increasing the number of people in your profession and making your profession more stronger. And in this kind of where the role of financial sector is growing throughout the world, and of course definitely in India, we should be able to fulfill the expectation of the general population by rising to the occasion. So thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me here, and I wish this 2-day deliberation all success.
Thank you, sir, for the interesting thoughts. As an appreciation for the time and valuable inputs shared with us all today, I would request Mr. Liaquat Khan, Chairperson 20th GCA Paper Selection and Program Advisory Group, to offer a memento to Dr. S.C. Kuntia. Thank you, sir. I request Mr. Hirak Basu, member GCA 2019 Paper Selection and Program Advisory Group, to present the memento to Mr. R.K. Sood. I now request Mr. Mayur Ankolekar, member GCA 2019 Paper Selection and Program Advisory Group, to present the memento to Mr. Masaki Yoshimura. I now request Mr. Shubhendu Bal, Honorary Secretary, Institute of Actuaries of India, to present the memento to Ms. Marjorie Guinia. I now request Mr. Dinesh Kansili, Executive Director, Institute of Actuaries of India, to present the memento to Mr. Dave Sandberg. Now we conclude this inaugural session with a vote of thanks by Mr. Sanjeev Pujari, Chairperson, 20th GCA Organizing Group. He is also the President, Actuarial Risk and Products at SBI Life Insurance Company. Prior to this, he was appointed actuary in the same company. He has worked with LIC for around 22 years in various positions like marketing, IT, administration, and actuarial across geographies. He is a fellow of the IFOA UK and the Institute of Actuaries of India. He has served as Chairman, Advisory Group on Life Insurance and Advisory Group on Professionalism and Ethics of the Institute of Actuaries of India. Sir, I request you to offer the word of thanks, please.
First of all, a very warm welcome to all of you for this session. The Honorable Chairman, Dr. Kuntia, Sunil, the President, Mr. Sood from LIC, Masaka, Marjorie, and Dave. It's indeed my privilege to have been asked to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. And I, on behalf of the Institute of Actuaries India, the Global Conference of Actuaries Organizing Group, the Paper Selection Group, all of us collectively, we extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all the speakers for gracing this occasion and sharing with us their thoughts and views. To the Chairman of IDA, a deep sense of appreciation for addressing us and for having taken time off your busy schedule to be here so early in the morning, traveling from Hyderabad. In your speech, you focused on quite a few areas, and one key thing was the role of actuaries in the current context. The way the insurance industry is structured today, and the faith that the industry reposes on the appointed actuary. But again, going forward, you referred to the fact that with the growing economy, the actuarial profession would also expand, will in the coming years get into wider areas and play the role in areas which so far has not been has been called traditional. Thank you, Sunil, for setting the tone of the seminar and welcoming all the guests here. And Mr. Sood for reinforcing your company's, that is LIC's, trust on actuaries. And you refer to the fact that the industry over the years had been led by the actuaries in the form of the chairman of LIC over so many years. So obviously they have given a sense of direction to the industry over the years before the liberation of the industry. And we continue the good work as a profession, imbibing new knowledge and getting into wider areas. Mr. Masaka, thank you for your support to the Indian profession. And then from what I gather, I think you have been following the Indian actuarial profession very closely for quite some time now. Marjorie, thank you for your best wishes. And hopefully you had a good time, enjoyable time yesterday evening as well. And we would love to interact with you and share ideas. Dave, again, thank you for your best wishes and your support. And going forward, we would like to, as a profession, Indian profession, like to associate with the US profession in a more engaging manner. Now, of course, the partners we have a large number this time, play a big role in the organization of this event. And I would like to thank all the partners. There are 35 in all, you can see the list there, for being gracious in extending your support, which is so vital to the conduct of the seminar. And in fact, I would be failing my duties if I don't mention all of them. I'll start with LIC as the principal partner. And then we had two ACFA partners for yesterday evening's event, K.A. Pandit and ICICI Lombard. The other partners to mention, not in any particular order, MetLife, SBI Life, SDFC Argo, Max Life Insurance, Hanover Re, Edelweiss Tokyo, Swiss Re, Milliman, SDFC Life, New India Assurance, Star Union Daiichi, Kotak Mahindra Life, Score Re, General Insurance Corporation of India, Hansa Solutions, Gen Re, ICICI Prudential, SBI General, National Insurance, Exide Life, India First Life, Society of Actuaries, MS Cholamandalam, United India Insurance, Srilam Life, Munich Re, PNB MetLife, Export Credit Guarantee Corporation, Tata AI Life, Goki, ACI Insurance Review, and Mahindra. Ladies and gentlemen, an event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheels of organization must be rolling a few months back, well in advance, so that things are put in place. And it would have required meticulous planning and perseverance. So I take this opportunity to thank the institute staff who have been in a very focused manner, have been working very hard to make this event a grand success. And most importantly, to the audience gathered here, on behalf of the profession, on behalf of the institute, on behalf of the organizing committees, both of them, I welcome you to this event and would like to thank you for coming here. And I wish you all a very insightful couple of days with a lot of sharing of knowledge and thoughts and a lot of engagement and discussions. So with that, we conclude the inaugural session. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, sir. For a digital success of this event, please use #20GCA with all the social media updates on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. #20GCA. Let's take this event to digital frontiers. We'll now break for tea. Thank you, everyone.